What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, coming at you from the Go Mart off of exit 95 in Snow Hill, West Virginia. Most of you guys that know me know that I have an affinity for these smaller truck stops. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people might have stopped at the Pilot in Nitro, West Virginia, or the TA in Hurricane. This is a place that I like to stop. I've stopped here a couple times. You go in there. They got this salad dressing that I really like. That's not why I stopped here, but they do have that in there, so that is a plus. But I have a delivery tomorrow in Salem, Virginia. It's about 160 miles away. Typically, I'd have tried to run this load all the way out and get out there about within 20-30 miles, but they were half-stepping when I went to go pick up the load, so I didn't get out of there till late. So I ended up having to shut down early that first day, and that kind of was a ripple effect. So here I sit now. But I wanted to talk about me. You know, I try not to be a dick, but I was a dick to somebody at the Denver yard. Dylan, hopefully you're watching this. I'm going to send you the link. This is, you know, it's kind of a few things I wanted to talk about, but all these things kind of happened around the same time that he messaged me and said, "Hey, Lyle, you in the Denver yard? You know, I'm here, you know, whatever." And I was like, you know what, stop by. Well, the 5 to 8 minutes or however long it took for him to stop by my truck, I got two things that happened to me that put me in a very bad mood. And, you know, I'm human. So, anyway, he comes out to my truck. A couple minutes before he got to my truck, I got two messages. The first message was a bullshit load coming out of the Denver yard on home time. We'll get to that in a second. And then the next one was a message from my driver, Myra. Usually, you know, she's not much to communicate, so sometimes when you get the messages, you know it's not some good news. But I got a message, and she was saying that the truck was having problems and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I didn't know the extent to the problems, you know, before he got there. I just knew that there were problems with the truck. And then around the same time, I got a message from Weekend Dispatch. Sales wants to know if you could drop off this little bullshit load 8 miles away from the Denver yard. You know, could you do us a favor? And you know what? That is one of my problems with going home. And it doesn't happen a lot. It happens about once every 4 loads that I take off, you know, on my way out of home time. And it's these loads, you know, I've got one to the Pepsi Center. That's a shit show. That's like a 10-mile load. I got one, I forget where the other one was, but then, you know, I get this one going 6.8 miles to Mile High Foods. Now, Mile High Foods is a good place to deliver, so that was a plus. But, you know, he sends me the message, you know, could you do this, whatever. And I'm like, you know what, if I'd have known, and this is the text I sent to him, if I would have known this is the load I was going to get, I would have just taken another day off. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of the reasons why I really don't like dropping loads with no miles on it. Like, what did I get out of that load, to be honest with you? I got $40, and I started my clock a whole lot earlier than I needed to start it. So anyway, I got that load. I forget what time it was on Sunday. Oh, and this is something else I don't like. Listen, if you want me to take a bullshit load, just be, you know what, just man up to me. Hey, Lyle, I know you don't want it. It would really help us out if you take this load. You know, what do you think? I'm always going to do it. Always. I mean, I'm always going to do it either way. But when somebody, you know, when they text me and or message me and they're like, hey, sales wants to know if you want to take this load, or if you could take this load to Mile High Foods, it'll help you get an empty trailer. I'm like, I already got an empty trailer, yo. I don't need a load to get it. So don't try to like tempt me with a load to get an empty trailer. And I'll be honest with you, I know the Denver area very well. I know exactly where to get empty trailers from if they're not at the yard. You know what I'm saying? I can scoot right down to Shaw, get an empty trailer from down there. UPS, boom, right down the road. And those aren't trailers that are getting reloaded by these people. So I know where to get empty trailers. Don't try to tempt me like this is gonna get you the empty trailer. But anyway, it's not that big of a deal, but it just irritates the shit out of me. It's one of the things I don't like coming out of home time for. So anyway, Dylan, I apologize for because when he came up to my truck, you know, like I said, he texted me, asked me if I was in the Denver yard, told him I was, stopped by the truck. Within those 5-8 minutes, I get these 2 texts, so now I'm pissed off about the load that I got. That's doing nothing but burning up my clock for 6.8 miles. And I know I have a potential problem with my truck, which I don't know if it's serious, not serious, whatever. And not that you know, I obviously don't look at her like a kid or anything like that, but if there's some tough stuff that somebody needs to go through, I'd rather go through that on my own. I really don't like to see her in a position where she's having to deal with truck problems and stuff like that. So it really turned out to not be that big of a deal. I mean, it did cost some days sitting and about $1,000 and getting new batteries and all that kind of stuff, but you know, not that big of a deal. But I don't know that at the time, you know what I'm saying? With the truck shortage, I don't know if I'm looking at, you know, because I do pay breakdown pay, or it's not necessarily breakdown pay, it's a minimum guarantee, and I'm going to take care of her as well. But I do pay if my truck is sitting, and now I'm looking at that plus handling the student that's on the truck, and you know, if it's taking 2 weeks to get parts or whatever, which wasn't the case, but if that's the case, you know, now I'm doing that for 2 weeks, you know, plus any revenue that would have been made on those trucks. So anyway, that's what's going on in my mind. So when he came up to my truck, you know, I tried, you know what I'm saying? I tried to not let it bother me, but finally I was just like, hey man, I gotta handle this stuff. My head's not in the right place. You know, whatever. So, but I don't like doing that. You know what I'm saying? I felt really bad about that after I got over being mad about, you know, these 2 things that it came up. And, you know, I wasn't mad about the truck breaking down as much as I was about this load coming off the Denver yard. But anyway, it did put me in a bad mind space. But anyway, enough about that. It's about 5 p.m. out here in West Virginia. Got to deliver this load at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. tomorrow. If any of you guys have been there from Prime, this is the Kroger in Salem, Virginia, and you know, when you pull in, there's that staging area, and that staging area is about as tight as these 2020s rapper skinny jeans, boy, trying to diagonal park into that staging area, if there's even a space. Now, one thing I will say is I don't remember them taking a long time to unload, but I'm all about that detention, so if that happens, I'm fine. Hopefully I'll pick up that they have either a Smithfield or a Tyson load that comes somewhere out of there, so that area. So that's hopefully what I could get, but who knows. Anyway, what else? Hey, always got to give props to my driver, Myra. You know, when she was dealing with the truck problems, I'm like, hey, you know what? If the truck goes down, get a hotel room. You could either pay for it, I'll reimburse you back, or just have them call me, blah, blah, blah. And she saved me the money on that hotel room, so I'm definitely going to hook her up because she saved me that money. So I'm gonna take care of her really well on this, because I know that she's, you know, had to slow down and everything as well. So we're going to try to make that, well, she will definitely be getting better paid than if she was a company driver on, well, she is a company driver, but a traditional company driver with breakdown pay. So I'm going to take care of her on that. Other than that, that's about it. Got my taxes all into Abacus, so that's good. Called them, because, you know, sometimes they don't call you and tell you they got the information, but they called me, told me they got my tax information. And, you know, before I go on a tangent, anybody that says Abacus is like, you know, they're not, you can get more money going through another place. You know what? Listen, you can get all the money you want to get. It's how aggressive you want to get. Now, I have, like, and I'm not going to call it questionable stuff, but I have a lot of stuff on my taxes where people would, like, look at it and be like, I need an explanation for this. And, you know, I could provide explanations, but never once is, you know, I've only filed them with them last year and this year, but never once has anybody said anything about any write-offs that I've had. And, you know, I've been dealing with, like, more write-offs than a typical person for the last 20 years. So I know what a decent CPA is and what isn't. And typically, all they are is putting in the information that you provide. So anyway, enough about that. So got the taxes done on that. And shit, tomorrow is March 31st. I don't plan on being out more than maximum 5 weeks this time out. We'll see, but hopefully it might be less than that. I might want to catch up a little bit on some of this cost that having that truck sit kind of did to me. But yeah, 5 weeks probably the most. And that's about it. Hey, Willie, Million Mile Man, if you happen to be watching this video, holler at your boy. I know that you run nights, and I'm kind of on a solar powered trucker schedule, but no fault of my own. But that's kind of my schedule right now. And that's about it. Anyway, I do want to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.